a citizen scientist here who does a lot of practical research. I'm talking about Fred Dunn. I did unmute him. Fred, do you have any parting takeaway comments, that anything you gleaned from that talk before we move on to the agenda?
Well, for asking, I'm super happy that Mr. Spichiger was here, because this is something that we get a pile of questions about. I actually have a couple of quick questions, if I'm still allowed to ask Sven some questions.
Yes.
One is, they said that these Hornets can fly at 50 miles an hour. Is that true?
It is true. And when they fly by your head, you're going to know it.
Whoa.
It sounds like a drone zipping through or something.
More like a 747.
And my other question is, we talk about the rice wine and orange juice as their bait, and that has a very limited shelf life if it's in the trap, and that means you have to attend to that and constantly replenish it to keep it fresh and so that the specimens will enter the trap. There's research being done for another more lasting lure. Is that right? Do you know what it is?
It is. And frankly, my original design was to use the same jug traps I used with Karen in Pennsylvania, but the feds aren't recognizing the catch numbers from those, because that's brown sugar and water, and that lasts 2 weeks versus 1 week. And if I only have to change a trap every 2 weeks, obviously I get a lot more done. So yeah, we're constantly researching. I'm hoping we end up going with brown sugar water when it's all said and done. But they're testing, it's like acetic acid and isopropanol and a few other compounds that supposedly mimic the attack pheromone for Asian giant hornet. So unfortunately, we got 2 specimens in one of those traps towards the very end. And so we have to take a good long look at that. I'm not as fond of that approach, because those cost a lot of money to make, and the average person wouldn't be able to use them. So the reason we didn't go with the brown sugar and water is there was no data to demonstrate that they wouldn't also catch honeybees, and we had a lot of beekeepers participating. So we had to go with something that the rice wine, in theory, is supposed to deter honeybees from coming in. And honestly, we only caught a few honeybees, and that was one trap that was basically hung over the entrance of a honeybee hive. So it was poor trap placement more than the lure itself.
And my next question is, does anything eat them? Is anything at all predating, other than the murder of crows that we want to train and send after them?
Well, so they're an apex predator. I mean, there's really, even humans run from these things. So there's really nothing out there that makes a habit of preying on these. Obviously, we'll look at if they have any parasites or diseases that impact them. But like with anything else, they're not supposed to be here. So if we unleash something on them, are we damaging other things that are even less capable of defending themselves? And so biocontrol is probably not going to be an option for this one.
Okay. And when you did a thermal shot of the tree when they were occupying the cavity, you got a really good heat image. So I'm wondering how thick the walls of the tree were that
Pretty
they were
thick.
occupying.
At least 2-3 inches.
2 or 3 inches. Well, I love the presentation, so I don't know what am I supposed to talk about, Ken?
Well, you just asking those questions were good.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Went deeper there, so that's good. And so I think we're going to move on unless there's any other questions. There's a lot of them. I did have an interesting comment from Cece here. Maybe the Asian hornet will prey on the lanternfly. Wishful thinking, right?
It's actually quite possible. They do like eating mantises and grasshoppers and other things in the native range. So,
But,
yeah,
it's still not a good idea. Okay, I think we're going to go into the other. Again, I want to thank you wholeheartedly. It was a great presentation. It was full of information. So thanks again. It was greatly appreciated.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. You're cutting into my fishing time. It's Saturday for me. So
okay, well,
sun's up. I'm out of here.
Appreciate you getting up early. It was really great. Really good. Thank you.
No problem. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Shalom.